Where the connection is good. I'm getting good frame rates and stuff. Good.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm hitting the record button, Dan.
Hail and well met, my fellow Hearthstone players, and welcome to HearthCoach, a podcast that can help you be legendary. I'm your host, Dan, and this is the other host, Frid.
Hello, everybody.
He is a player of Legend Rank, and I have convinced him to coach me, record it in podcast form, and put it out there so as to hopefully help some more of you make it to Legend also. All right, after all the bumpy beginning to this live show, I wasn't going to mess around with the intro any. Okay, hey everybody, episode 198. We are live, up and running. I had some technical difficulties with my main computer right when we tried to go live, of course. So,
Yeah, we
done
could. We couldn't hear Dan. It was like, what is going on here? Huh.
Nope. And then when they finally did kind of connect, it was really bad. So I had to switch over computers. I'm a 2-computer operation right now. I got the Skype on my laptop here, and we got some Hearthstone on the other computer. So,
All right.
yeah, we're working.
So, yeah,
How are we doing
you're looking like a different angle. I can see the computer in your
Oh,
glasses. It's
that's
completely different.
Oh, yeah,
It's all
yeah,
good.
I'll just have to stay pointing.
Nah, you're fine. Ah,
That's right. Yeah, I can move this around a little bit more here.
yeah.
Let me get the whole logo in.
No, it was good. It's good. So I'd say that because he's been so patiently waiting,
Yes,
we can skip.
we're jumping right on into this. How are we
Yeah,
doing tonight, Language Hacker?
we have
We're
a
we're just going full forward with things. There's not a whole lot of pre-show stuff we need to do today.
well, and
Uh,
I mean we've seen this transformation now from a aspiring
yes,
player to somebody that's doing really well to now a champion. Man, congratulations and welcome.
season of champion.
Thanks.
Thank-
Glad to be
Thanks.
back, guys.
I see this.
Uh,
I see the hardware back there. It's pretty
Yeah,
shiny.
it's in the background.
Yeah, nice.
I actually set it up there without paying attention to like how it would look on stream and everything. And when I turned the camera on, it was like a direct line to it, so it worked out really nicely.
Yeah, it's like no, don't mind me over here and the hardware. It's all good.
Oh, are you kidding me? I would probably make like a special shelf
Oh
so
my god.
like sit right next to my face on camera.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, we
So,
gotta. That's that was quite the ride. When I hear about your experience. I mean, first time in California. I'm assuming.
So I'd actually been in California before, in
Okay.
LA as well.
Okay.
I have a cousin who lives there, and I visited her before. But it was definitely the first time like doing anything involved with like Blizzard and esports and gaming down there. So it was definitely cool checking out like the venues, the people, like the Blizzard Arena, the stage, which was really cool. It was definitely like a starstruck experience, and yeah.
yeah, well, awesome. It sounds like it was a pretty large time getting to go a little bit behind the scenes and whatnot. And uh, how fun is it making those videos about yourself? That's got to be great, isn't it?
It's the first time I've done it.
I
It
can
was-
only imagine, friend. That's got to be like a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, but kudos for going and doing it though. But that's yeah. So how was all that whole experience? And
it was pretty fun. Like it was the first time I've done that. So they had a set of people who were trying to like give us questions and stuff that we could try to answer that, so they could put the whole like show reel together and play that in between games to kind of fill air. But they were also trying to make us be funny or like have a story. So it was very
yeah,
like forced at times, and it still turned out funny. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
poses you'll see with the weapons, we had all those
Yeah.
like, weird heroic poses. They definitely tried to like play that up a lot. which
Yeah.
made it like really hard to do like with a serious face. But in the end, it worked out.
Don't they slow him down too, right? It's like a slow motion thing when they actually
Yeah.
show it. And you told a story about being a spelling bee champ. Is that right? Was that you?
I finished like third place in some spelling bee in like third grade or something. So before we fly out there, they asked us to fill out like this like questionnaire. So if they could get some background knowledge on us, if they want to like make some tweets about us, or basically like give the people a few more tidbits of information.
Yeah.
And most of us fill it in with just memes. So that's what I did, and they ended up putting that into my little video.
Yeah, that was they had to spell something, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they asked me to spell Ziliax, Flabidinous Floop, and Mechathun. And they didn't prepare me for that. They just
On the fly. It's to
camera
see.
go. Yeah, that
Oh,
was
wow.
not practiced.
One take, got it,
One take. It was yeah.
nailed it.
Very good. I'm sure that made some people happy. All right, we got this stuff done in one take. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
We got to get a lot of footage.
How long is that? Does that take? All that recording.
All right,
It wasn't quite a full day, but it definitely took a few hours. There was a whole day set aside for all 16 players, I think, to actually go through. Wait, no, it actually took 2 days. So we had 2 sets of 8 players. So we had 8 players go. They did the makeup, they did all that stuff, the videos, and that was like one day. And then the next day, the other 8 did it, and then we started actually going into the tournament. So it did take some time. It wasn't like 10 hours straight, but it did take up quite a big part of the sunlight hours.
Cool,
Okay.
cool. So, I guess we'll be seeing you next weekend, or no, this coming weekend. I keep saying next weekend, but it's this weekend coming up as we're recording here for DreamHack.
Yep, I'm excited to go back. Had a great time last year, even though I didn't top out. But it was definitely fun meeting you guys, seeing a lot of the other faces as well, and checking out like Battle of the Brew. I remember that was really fun.
Yeah, they're doing a pre-party. They just sent something out in the Discord. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh.
They got a little slap in the hand from DreamHack saying you can't call this a DreamHack whatever.
Oh.
So they changed the name to like the Dream something, but it's not DreamHack. But it's in the same place. It's a nice Bunny's putting that together. So it's
Okay.
Battle and Brew is the name of the place. It's still in the
Okay.
same spot in Roswell, so go check them out. It's a fun place.
Are you going, or
I don't know.
okay?
I may swing
Is it
by.
Is it Thursday night? Or
Yeah,
Friday?
Thursday night.
Thursday night. Okay.
It's hard for me to find somebody to look after my daughter, and that place is 18 and over, so they won't let her in, which is weird. she has nowhere to be at 11, so we'll figure it out.
Okay.
At 11 years old is what I mean.
Right.
One thing going back to it, you said the Blizzard Arena, is that on campus or it's a separate location? Because I'm not familiar.
So I didn't actually get to see the whole like everything. Most of the time we spent there was just at the Blizzard Arena. So I'm not sure. I know they have other buildings and offices there. I don't know if we were on like the whole.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if we were on like the whole property, or if we were just on like some offsite section, or.
So you didn't go to like their normal campus where the people are programming games and stuff?
No, we
okay.
didn't. That probably would have been a good idea, but we didn't
think-
get a chance to.
I think that's what they used to do, but I guess now that they have this other thing, the arena, then you just keep people there. That's pretty cool.
Or maybe I slept on that day where they took everyone there. I don't know.
I don't know.
You a little rest.
Wow. Did
Hey,
they?
it worked out. Whatever you did.
So you got to meet developers and executives, or who would come out, or just like who would come out?
No, definitely. So most of the people we interacted with was like the like production crew, the player managers who were making sure we all knew where we needed to be, what we needed to do. But there were developers hanging out around there too. There were a couple of execs. Not on the first few days. They mostly hung out like near the end of the tournament. Like I know, like the director of the like Hearthstone franchise, like the Hearthstone franchise lead hands like the trophy at the end. Like the head of esports gaming was hanging out that day too, and most of them showed up to the after party as well.
Oh, there's an after party.
It was a little small nearby. It wasn't that big, but it was nice because it was everyone who was basically involved in the event. So it was nice meeting them all and then just like having a nice sort
Hang
of
up.
It's like a closed
Casual
just,
setting.
just for those people, kind of
yeah.
thing.
It was you had to have like an invite or a ticket or something. Guest list. That's what they're called.
Ooh, yeah. One of the special things you gotta get on the guest list. That's cool.
Nice. Did you feel a little bit like a celebrity running around, or no? With all
Not
this
at the
makeup
time.
and all that stuff.
Oh, with that, yes. I was It was the attention was definitely nice. I'm not gonna lie. It was it was the first time I've gotten like makeup done. Like I've been on camera before. Like you guys have seen me on at DreamHack and stuff, but that was the first time it was like an actual, all right, we need to, clean you up before you go on sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, they're getting a little more close up and whatnot, and it's a
HD
little more high
cameras
def.
and stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they have much brighter lights on the stage too, so it becomes a lot. Even if like you're not sweating or anything, like just the natural, like what do you call it? Like oils you have on your skin,
right.
they really
Makes
show
you
up
look shiny.
from the camera. Yeah, so they try to like powder you up.
Don't
You
put
don't
too much
shiny
of that
and
stuff.
Reflecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that sounded like an awesome time.
Yeah. So now you'll have to go through something similar again, right? Like.
Yeah, at
for
World
Worlds.
Championships. Yeah, they haven't announced when it's going to be. It's going to be early 2019. Maybe not January,
don't know where.
February, because I think last year they announced it. I forget how, like a couple months before. So we're getting to the point where they can't really announce it for January, February yet. Maybe it'll be in March, but I don't know.
I
But
want to see.
that-
I want to. I hope it's somewhere. So, I hope it's somewhere we could.
In the
Possibly.
States?
Yeah, like we could possibly go. It'd be cool if we could go there, but
Yeah, like I know last year was in Amsterdam, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do something on on Westerns. I mean, for me, okay, so for me, I don't mind wherever they do it because they're paying for the flight. But in terms of having people come and like hang out,
Yeah.
hopefully it's something a bit more accessible.
Well, like if it's, I mean, I don't know where it could be. Somewhere in the States that we could get to. See, that would be kind of fun. I
Like
think
maybe they just have it at California again.
yeah, like my wife, we talked about it last time, and maybe when it was the Bahamas, we're like, take a little vacation.
Oh, that's a thought. Yeah, that's true. Forgot
Well,
about
we're
that
at it. I
one.
mean, if it's from Miami, you could go out of Miami and take a little puddle jumper thing. Just takes you there.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a direct flight from here too, but anyway, something like
Yeah,
that
it's
could be cool.
Your airport, I imagine.
Just like a destination type of location. But we'll see. Well, maybe we could, depending on where it is, be cool to go
Yeah.
show up in person and watch it. Kind of fun.
Hey, the World Congress Center can handle stuff like that, all right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, how awesome would that be if they had it there?
yeah,
Really
Sorry
convenient for you guys.
yeah.
Yeah. That'd be great, but yeah, we'll see where they have it. It'll be, someplace nice.
I
and
was,
fancy, I'm sure.
Just real quick, I was around there yesterday because the Atlanta United were playing the semifinals of the conference, and I didn't see any sign of DreamHack yet, but they should be getting ready here shortly. But there wasn't. I didn't see anything up yet. They've also renamed that arena across the street from Phillips Arena to State Farm Arena, so I guess they're rebranded it. And the stadium is now complete. So the one that remember caused the internet problems last year. I hope they don't have that again because it's done.
Okay, no other construction going on.
Well, they're still
hopefully?
constructing a portion of the behind the stadium. They call it the backyard, which is all this stuff where you can hang out and tailgate. But I think we're safe. We should be okay. And they probably learned that
good.
hey, this is going on. Don't do stuff like that.
And that could be another reason why they moved it later, so they would be done with that type of work and it would be less of a concern, maybe.
Yep, and you two can't see me, but I got my full jersey and hat completely Atlanta United. We're playing the Red Bulls on the next round. They're from New York and they're going down. And then if we win that, and we go for the cup, the whole thing against some kind of West Coast team. So anyway, it was pretty exciting. We had a good time there. So, they set another record, 70,000 plus fans. It's crazy.
Cool.
So
Wow.
yeah, they do a good job at that stadium. So anyway, this is not the soccer
Excellent.
podcast, but I do have to give a shout out to the United because they're doing really well.
Cool.
So let's see. Okay, so coming over for DreamHack. What are some, I guess, for people?
And the word from last week was primer.
A primer.
The one
yes.
I could not remember until we got off the podcast. But yeah, we'll do a little bit of a
Yes.
of a DreamHack primer here.
So you're an experienced competitor and champion. So what does your lead up look like? Like if I'm trying to prepare for this tournament,
we both need to put some lists together.
Yeah, we gotta create a lineup. How much practice are you putting in? Things like that.
So I've been taking it a bit easy since champs. It's been like cruise control for a while. But what I normally do is I take a look at what's popular in the meta, and like generally what's popular is also kind of good decks because that's why it's popular. So I take a look at what kind of decks are out there. I pick a couple that I think I'm comfortable playing with, and also just line up well. Like they have, it's not necessarily that they have a cohesive strategy, but they're just like they're good together. And then I try to build the rest of the lineup based off of those two decks. And that doesn't always work because if those two decks shouldn't be in the lineup in the first place, and then you can kind of find out like, oh, this is going to, no matter how I build the lineup, it's weak to some stuff, then maybe those initial two decks aren't the ones you want to start with. But I look at the meta, I pick a couple decks I like that I think are strong that I can play. And then from there, I try to like make a spreadsheet and say, okay, what are these two good against so far? And what am I weak against? Because I need to be able to beat what I'm weak against in last year's standing. If like two of your strong decks are beaten, they can keep jamming the same deck, and you need to be able to beat that deck if it beat your first decks. So it's the way you want to build a lineup is to either build a 4 good decks lineup where you're just like pretty good across the board. There's no like super polarized matchups. You try to play well and you try to beat your opponent that way, or you can try to make a sort of cover all your bases lineup, which doesn't always work because if you happen to lose a favorable, then you're on the back foot. So if you're winning 1-1-1-1, but you lose the first one, it's a problem. Or if you lose let's say you lost one and you need to counter queue and then you lose that, it can be a problem for winning sets. But
so you analyze, do some analysis, decide on a lineup, you feel good about it, and then do you like jam 1,000 games with those, or what? What do you do?
Well, it depends. Okay, so if we're going for I have nothing else to do right now, my only sole goal for the next 2 weeks is to prep and win DreamHack Atlanta, then yeah, you jam thousands of games. But what you can do is kind of look at websites like HS Replay or some of the other stuff like Vicious Reaper.
Yes, Vicious Syndicate. Yeah.
Yeah, Vicious Syndicate.
The Data Reaper report.
Yeah, and look at what's popular because clearly those decks are good. And that'll give you a sense of what you can put in your lineup, but it'll also give you a sense of what other people have in their lineups. So another thing you could do is try to build same thing, like a good deck lineup that just happens to be a bit better against, let's say, these two popular decks. There's many different ways you can take it, but I think the important thing is play decks you're comfortable with, because
So the four, thinking about the 4 strong deck idea, because since I don't have that much time or preference, you want to cover all the bases. Do you go by like tier list? You say, okay, let me see what everybody agrees on tier 1. Let's see these 4 decks, or maybe there's 5 decks, and then you decide I like these 4 because I'm comfortable with them. Would you approach it that way, or there's so much diversity? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is there an agreement on what tier 1 even is?
So looking at these websites won't necessarily tell you these are the best like 4 or 5 decks. Because even if they do tell you stats like, hey, these are the 5 highest win rate decks, that is not always correct. Like for sure, those 5 decks will be strong, but the rankings might not be accurate. Maybe it'll be a bit off because people don't play the deck properly, or maybe there's just not enough stats at high legends, so you're left with people playing it who don't play it optimally and don't actually reflect its true win rate. But it'll definitely give you a good idea of what like 5 or 6 decks are popular and good right now. And from there, you kind of have to try and mix and match and see if you're particularly weak against anything. Because if you're bringing 4 good decks and you don't pay attention, and then suddenly, oh, I didn't realize all 4 of these decks lose to like Odd Warrior.
Got it.
In some cases, that's fine, because then you can say, okay, I'll ban Odd Warrior.
Yeah.
What if there's like another control deck? What if people bring like Odd Warrior and like Control Priest, and you happen to be really bad against both of those? In that case, you don't want to bring those 4 good. Well, you still might want to bring those 4 good decks because Control Priest isn't that popular. But let's say Control Priest was popular. You don't want to bring that because if everyone's going to have those other 2 decks, your lineup's not going to perform well.
So you try to look for a hole, a particular weakness maybe that's out that your lineup may have, and see if you can shore that up.
Yep. There's a couple ways you can do that. One, you can try filling in decks that are a bit better against it. One is you can stay weak to that, but like have tech cards to help in that matchup. And that won't necessarily bring you back up to favored, but it'll change it from being unfavored. Like there's a huge difference from being like 40% to win versus like 45. Because 40-60 you expect to win most of the time. You expect to lose most of the time. But as soon as you bring it up to 45, that's not even that bad of a matchup at that point. That's just like, a draw or 2, and then you can swing the game in your favor.
That's right. A couple of things could go your way, and you're in business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, like let's say the hole in your lineup is the Control Priest. I haven't seen Control Priest on ladder in like forever. Maybe I've seen 1.
So then you're like,
yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't even matter. It's like whatever. I'll bring 4 face decks.
And then ban Warrior, and we're good to go. Exactly.
Easy game.
Now I don't mind like talking a little bit about what I'm thinking about bringing in stuff, because nobody's listening to this podcast really worried about what I'm going to be doing. So I would love to. We'll pick your brain about what you bring. After you play DreamHack Atlanta, we'll talk about whatever neat things you bring then. But for myself,
I gotta fix something then. What do you mean after you play? After you win DreamHack Atlanta?
Oh,
hey,
I don't know about that.
Let's put some optimism out there in the world.
Yeah. He's probably gonna. Doesn't have to. He isn't super worried about winning. DreamHack. He might just try some stuff out, have some fun, do a little experiment.
I know.
Get ready for championships coming up.
I'm messing with you, Dan.
Completely guessing here.
Now spill the beans,
okay.
because people can tech against you if you
yeah, right.
disclose your lineup here.
No. Well, we would probably get a lot more downloads if he did that. But no, because right now I know I want to bring. And again, I'm going with just stuff I'm comfortable with playing, because remembering and like learning matchups is definitely my shortcoming, and I think that's something I'm going to be asking people, is how they learn what the good and bad matchups are and stuff. But we won't worry about that like right now, unless you feel like talking about that. But that is something I'm going to be maybe like one of the questions I'll be asking some of the other pro players.
Well, I guess right now, is it mostly using those resources, like the sites? Is that what you would say? That is the primary way to find the bad matchups?
Yeah, mostly. Because you can take a look at tournaments and stuff too, but it's harder to analyze the tournaments because you're not always presented with all the stats. And also, I mean, let's say someone gets unlucky and they lose a specific matchup that you're curious about, and then you don't have that much to go off of.
Yeah, I mean, it could drag down the percentages a lot because the sample is so much smaller on a tournament than it is on those Reapers that has 10,000 games or whatever it is. So,
like, the websites are pretty good. I don't always take their percentages at face value. What what some of us normally do is, let's say we have like 20 matchups we're looking at. We fill in the spreadsheet. Okay, this is this matchup. This is this matchup, and we have 20 percentages here. We can even go through these percentages and be like, okay, Odd Pally versus Odd Warrior. I've played this matchup. For example, I haven't, but I've played this matchup 1,000 times. I don't think it's actually what they say it is. I think it's more closer to this. And then we can bump it down a few percentage points based on which way we think it is. Mm-hmm. And then from there, we have a much better picture of it. But even at that point, like, you're moving the percentages by like 2-3%, maybe 5% if you think they're like way off. So that doesn't even help that much. So usually the percentages are close enough.
So I don't know.
Not like, go ahead.
No, Dan, if you played around with these sites, or maybe we at some point kind of sit down, maybe we can do it I don't know if it'd be interesting in an episode, but it's like to walk through how this is structured, so how you read it, because they have all kinds of graphics and charts, and it can get kind of tricky, and there's a lot of numbers, especially in HS Replay, about like the mulligan and which cards do you keep, and it gets really crazy, and all you want is the matchups percentages and who's favored and who's not. So probably did that.
I just know that that's a particular like shortcoming of mine, and again, I could go and like memorize some lists and stuff, but I need to know why Odd Rogue or would be bad or good against Death Hunter.
Yeah, and
I don't even know if that's a thing. I'm just like making stuff up now. So
yeah, and it's not about memorizing because it's dynamic, right? It's not a static thing that is always the same.
Knowing that, the only thing it would do is make me nervous if I like knew the list and I go, okay, well, I know this is a bad matchup, but if I don't know why it's a bad matchup, what am I looking out for? How do I play? What strength? What out do I have? What am I trying to play to? That's the stuff that our friend like LanguageHacker and a lot of others just seem well, to me, from where I'm sitting, it's like, wow, man, these guys are like genius magicians. I just, they know all these matchups and they just know, and lots of people, and I hear it all the time, and I'm like a little embarrassed because I'm like, I wouldn't know what a good or bad matchup is. so that's something I recognize that I need to, a shortcoming I need to work on if I'm, gonna make it to Legend one day.
I think that is one, but I noticed another thing, especially in our show like last week, which was really awful because we lost every time. So you remember the first game, and you're like completely given up, probably way early. I was looking at it after we were done, and if we had attacked with the SI7 agent, that would have died and made room for the Leroy, and we would have won. So there's always like edge outs and you like you kind of give up sometimes too soon. I feel like you're like, oh man, this is a lost cause. It's over.
Yeah, so. I won't deny that's probably fairly accurate. I could be a little bit quick with the concede button, but if I'm looking at it and I just I'm like, man, I don't see where I can come up with enough damage or anything. And maybe I hit it a little too soon. Maybe I should try and play them out further. But again, that's where I come up short, is when the games start going long. It's
I get it.
So much to try and keep up in my head. What's going on and whatnot. And in a tournament, I don't get the benefit of having deck tracker, so that makes it even more of a challenge. Yeah. But
hey, we have some wisdom in the chat, Dan, from our champion from our tournament, saying that familiarity with the decks is so important because a lot of it just comes to experience and practice. And LanguageHacker says this is very true. So you should stick to what you have been playing and feel comfortable with.
Yes, that's what I'm definitely. That's been my plan. So I know I'm comfortable with the Odd Rogue and the Death Hunter, but haven't decided on how to round out this this list.
That's a kind of a fast deck and a more slower deck.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
but
Language Hackers has some ideas about how you
I'm definitely
round this
better
out.
with more aggro type style decks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to suggestions. I'm even like, especially what I've played against it a bit. I think we're going to play even Warlock tonight, and I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this because I think I should bring a Warlock deck. It seems to be pretty strong. I was thinking about. I haven't played a lot with it, like a token druid too, maybe because druids just seem to be pretty strong. But
So that would look like
that, or
on
maybe an egg paladin, because I know paladin pretty well.
this lower paladin we played, not the odd, but the other
Yeah,
one.
yeah, the egg paladin.
Okay. So what do you think of
Yeah,
that?
odd pally wouldn't be bad either. Oh,
It's a
so
lot
many
of people that will
decisions.
bring that though, so you would probably see a lot of deck tech against it. Well, maybe.
For odd rogue, for odd
Odd
pally.
paladin, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I would bring the egg paladin just to be different.
That's different for sure.
Because I'm that way.
So you had
uh,
that would be a slow deck, and so would the hunter, and then you said the odd rogue is kind of fast. So then you
Mhm.
could, if you do the even warlock, then that's kind of like three more slower kind of decks with one.
Even Warlock's kind of nice too, because it does have a sort of control-y feel where it is, it can beat the aggro deck well if you draw your AoE, but it can also kill someone really quickly. Like if you have giant into giant, you just
Yeah,
that man's dead.
yeah, he's not gonna last very long taking those hits,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
can
hard
still
to
be aggressive with it.
respond to an 8/8 on turn 3 or 4. So
Okay. Well, yeah. So
maybe
that's what I'm.
let's
That's
look
what
at
I'm
it
picking
tonight.
around.
Maybe you get some ideas.
Yeah. After we play this even lock, I would like that. Tempo mage would have been so nice, but
Yeah,
it just that would be silly to bring to a tournament.
not without
Oh, yeah.
mana worm. Hmm.
I mean, you could play it, but it's still it's yeah, just that one nerf. I tried playing it some afterwards, and it's just not what it was.
It loses a lot of points when you can't go mana
Yeah.
worm into a bunch of stuff.
Well, we just don't have any opening plays
Yeah,
really now. So anyway,
that
not
little
too.
bit of damage adds up.
But
Okay.
I'm not about to start trying to badmouth Hearthstone. Goodness gracious, not after last week.
All right. Well. All right. So shall we dive into this?
Let's
Deck?
dive into some even Warlock.
What do we have here? Let's take a look. Tell us.
I have the deck.
Give us some wisdom here, Language Hacker. What do we got?
Sure.
You were playing this earlier tonight.
Yeah.
I was playing a slightly different list. Yeah, I wasn't, but I didn't. I had just thrown together a quick list. This is a couple of cards off of it, but I still think this is fine. I think this might be one card off actually.
Okay.
It was an HS replay, like most popular. 2 people
Yeah.
were streaming it. I'm like, let's just grab this one.
The deck runs very, very similarly. Just like 1 or 2 tech card changes here and there. The general game plan, how you play it, is still very similar. So I think this is fine. So running through the list, obviously everything here is going to be even cost because it's even Warlock. We have 1 Acidic Swamp Ooze, just weapon removal, helps against Odd Rogue, helps against Odd Warrior, Druid sometimes with a Twig. You have double Defile, which is pretty solid. Double Beetle, Plated Beetles. People have been running Doomsayers and sometimes 1 Beetle, 1 Doomsayer, but that's not on this list right now. There's a few more aggressive decks who happen to be running Void Ripper lately on ladder. So taking out the Doomsayers and putting in minions that actually contest board seems to be a bit better. Because if you play out a Doomsayer on 2 and they just Void Ripper you, it feels pretty awful.
That's a disaster.
Yeah.
Well, it gives you a little life too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. It helps in some situations where you really need the extra life. 2 Sunfury Protectors, just kind of good with the big boys we have in the deck. It's nice to taunt them up and create a wall. 2 Vulgar Homunculuses, standard and even Warlock. Double Hellfire, double Hooked Reaver, double Spellstone, double Shroom Brewer. I've seen some people run for this next one, double Spellbreaker. I've seen some people run just 1.
That's a lot.
I think 2 is fine. There's been a lot of Death Rattle hunters on ladder 2, So I think having the extra silence is pretty like okay. You can use it on eggs, cubes, like a lot of stuff. Use it on Katharina and then clear her. Double Twilight Drake, one Dread Infernal helps a bit against Odd Paladin, which has been a bit more popular lately. I haven't seen it too much, but more than I've been seeing it before, so I think that's fine. Some people have been running like 2 Dread Infernals. Again, there's a couple of flex cards here, so it's and the ones you choose kind of add a few percentage points to each respective matchup. We got Gen Greyman next. We have Mossy Har. Mossy Har has kind of fallen off a little bit because what are they called? Not Annoyatron, but Giggling Inventor's been nerfed, and that was one of the main things you wanted to hit with Mossy. So Mossy I've seen run a bit less, but it's still good against some of the more aggressive decks, so I think it's fine as well. Skulking Geist helps against Druid, helps against some other stuff, just solid. One Bone Mare, one Lich King, Gul'dan, and then 2 Mountain Giants.
So a question on the Sun Furies. What's the right time? You just want to put it on something big every time, or?
Against more aggressive, that's one of the things about this deck. This can switch game plans pretty quickly, like hot hand sort of thing. Early on, if you don't have 2 drops, you can just throw out the Sun Fury Protector instead to contest for the board. If you don't have like a Twilight Drake in hand, or if you have a Mountain Giant that you know you're not going to be able to play, then there's not much point holding on to the Sun Fury, because if you can't play the Mountain Giant and you can't Sun Fury it, then you might as well throw out the Sun Fury to try and soak damage or try to actually contest the thing that your opponents are playing.
Okay, so it's just kind of a depends of what's going on.
Sometimes you can be greedy, take a bit of extra damage, then play Giant and Sun Fury the next turn. Sometimes that means you die. Sometimes that means it's good and you win. It depends in the situation. Like, you don't want to be making a play like that if your opponent has coin and is an odd rogue, because if you taunt up just the Mountain Giant and they have Coin Vilespine, that's a pretty big oof. So.
So you said Spellbreaker 2 and Mossy. So if we were to replace 1 or 2 of these cards, what are you looking at?
I think the double Spellbreaker is fine. I would cut a Mossy, depending on what you see on ladder, on your rank bucket, because the rank meta changes in between ranks too. I would throw in either another Dread Infernal as an extra threat. If you're seeing maybe a lot of Druids, it'll help to have an extra big minion. Or you could put in another Ooze if you see more aggro, maybe more, like Odd Rogues and stuff. The Infernal helps against Odd Paladin as well.
So the Mossy for something like Spreading Plague, that's not something this deck suffers against, so it doesn't matter that much?
I forgot about Druid.
I was going to say, I've been playing...
That's the thing, Spreading Plague is still a card, so...
Never mind, Mossy Horror is fine.
I've been digging having the Mossy Horror in that Hunter deck.
I forgot why people are running that. Right.
Oh, 1 sack pack. That's another idea.
I've seen a 1 sack pack. If there's a lot of Zoo on ladder, that helps. It can help you stabilize in some situations too. If let's say you're running a mage out of cards and all he has left is a fireball, you can just jam something and sack pack it.
Speaking of Zoo, what do you think of that?
I think it's fine. I don't think it's the most powerful deck right now. I think it does what it does well. Obviously, it has strengths and weaknesses. I think it's just fine. There's a lot of Druid on ladder, so running Zoo makes sense.
You can use it to round out a lineup, right? I mean, it's just like anything else.
Yeah, I was really tempted to do the Zoo lock thing too. It just hasn't been as strong, but I'm familiar with it and I could play it decently anyway. But I'll make that decision after I go through and get coached playing this one, because I've played against it and all, but I haven't played it.
Yep. Sure. Alrighty, let's do this.
All right, I am on the proper deck, hitting the play button.
Since nobody's gonna tech against Frid, I am trying to decide between, because I want to bring a Warlock, so I'm trying to decide between these two as well. That's why I was asking about Zoo versus this. Zoo is just because I played a bazillion games with it, but it just doesn't feel as good, so I'm kind of iffy.
It also depends on what you're banning, because depending on what you're banning, Zoo could be better, or even Lock could be better.
Yeah.
Or a third deck could be better. I'm
gonna try to look at some spreadsheets.
We're opening up with 3-4 mana cost cards, so I don't think we want the Hooked Reaver, Hellfire, or Shroom Brewer yet.
Well, this is Rogue, just to let everyone know, at rank 7. What do we think here?
Am I correct in that assumption?
Sorry, can you? I see the 3 cards. What were you suggesting?
I was going to throw them all back.
I would keep the Hellfire.
Keep the Hellfire. Okay.
Yes. It doesn't deal with a Henge Clan Thug, but I've seen. I'm assuming it might be Odd Rogue. It could be something else. But it deals with Fledgling. It deals with just a lot of small minions at the start as well.
Okay, well, we got a Defile and a Plated Beetle out of that, so looking okay if this is Odd Rogue.
It was not.
And we get Sun Fury Protector, so I guess I just hit the hero power.
Yep. Tap on one is pretty much always the play.
We get a Lich King. You're a little early to the party, bud, but that gives us Lich King, Sun Fury Protector, Defile, Hellfire, Plated Beetle. Probably be throwing out some Plated Beetle next turn, I imagine.
We'll see what he does. We don't know what kind of rogue he is yet. We only know that he's not Odd Rogue.
Oh.
Could be Quest, could be like Miracle.
I have not come across a Quest Rogue in some time. It'd be... Oh, well, I was wrong. It's Quest Rogue.
Okay.
So we throw out the Plated Beetle. We drew a Spellbreaker.
I think we do throw out the Beetle. We don't. If we had like Giant in hand, I might be like leaning towards tapping to get that online. But we don't have any threats, so I'd rather play a couple of small things and start hitting him in the head to try and be aggressive.
Yeah, because that's how you beat this deck. Just kill him.
It's funny. I have not seen a Quest Rogue, and I don't know how long. It's the first one in a while.
Alright, he's coining Mimic Pod, so that's it.
Okay, we draw a Lesser Amethyst Spellstone.
Mm-hmm.
So draw a card.
Yep. Usually on odd turns, you can start off with tapping. It changes in some matchups when you're afraid of dying and you don't want to take too much damage.
No, I don't. Nothing to defile, and I really don't see any point in playing the Sun Fury Protector unless we just want to get minions out there.
Yeah, I think we just want to get minions out there. If he gets his game plan online, we're going to have some problems. So we just want to pressure him and force him to use resources to clear instead of saving them efficiently to complete the quest.
All right, so we play the Sun Fury.
I concur.
And we attack for 2.
Smash him in the face as fast as you can.
The damage adds up. 4 damage a turn is pretty quick, and you're going to start playing other stuff later.
Glacial Shard on the Plated Beetle and a Novice Engineer.
And we draw, yes, Vulgar Homunculus. We don't defile this, do we? Or do we?
I don't think so.
Okay. Draw a card, or because I don't see.
How do you feel about Spellbreakering our Beetle and killing both his minions?
Oh, I did not think of that, but
so he Glacial Sharded our Beetle, so we cannot clear both minions right now, but we get to develop a Spellbreaker here, which isn't the biggest minion, but it's still development, which I kind of like.
Okay, so we'll silence our Beetle and we'll clear the board.
I didn't see that either. I haven't done that in so long, but that's very good.
And I think killing the minions there instead of going face is a bit more important because if he bounces Shard or Novice, it's kind of annoying for us.
Mm-hmm.
But what did he just do there?
He Fan Knives and Shard. Oh, that was the Mimic Pod. The
Glacial Shards?
The Spellbreaker is frozen.
Yeah, the card he Mimic Podded was Glacial Shard, so he's used the natural one and the one from Mimic Pod now.
And we drew a Twilight Drake.
Yep.
Draw a card, Twilight Drake?
Seems good. See what you draw first in case it's like a giant or something.
Another Spellstone.
Drake it is.
So we play the Drake. Clear this 2-1.
We want to kill the Shard.
Yeah, we don't want them bouncing him.
So we trade. So we got 2 Lesser Amethyst Spellstones, Vulgar Homunculus, Dread Infernal, the Lich King Defile, and Hellfire in our hand.
Alright, turn 5 for the Quest Rogue. He's 2 out of 5 on the Glacial Shard. He's throwing out a Wax Elemental and bouncing that, so I guess trying to change and Shadow Stepping the
Oh, that's interesting.
Brewmaster. Another Wax. And
He's
bouncing
getting
that.
really fancy with these bounces. I think it would have been better if you just... That was a little weird. Okay.
I guess he wanted a minion. We draw a Mountain Giant that we can play.
So we're at the point where if we play something big and he vanishes, we lose a lot of mana on board. So I'd rather develop something tiny, kill his minion, and then start pushing face damage.
Oh, okay.
Because after he vanishes, the giant becomes really cheap, and then we can just play it for 3 later. But if we play it now for 5, or if we tap and play it for 4, it's like our entire turn.
So, lifesteal?
Yeah, I like it.
Well,
Lesser Amethyst Spellstone.
Do we play
3/2.
Vulgar or no? Hold on.
I think you play Vulgar second. So you don't want to buff the Spellstone. If you're at a point where you think you might die, you're probably losing the game at that point anyway. So I'd rather get a little lower in case we need to play a 7/7 later.
For the Hooked Reaver? I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
It probably won't matter, but I don't think the extra 2 health will matter.
Okay, so we're Lesser Amethyst Spellstone,
Yep. The Brewmaster he left on the board, and we can play Homunculus.
So I was thinking you do it the
And
other way,
play
Dan,
Human.
so that you get a little bit more health, but to the point of the 7/7, no.
the attack for 8 damage.
Yep.
End our turn.
That's one thing I sometimes overlook. What you just described out of Vanish. You just vomit high cost stuff, and then you get punished with Vanishes.
Mm-hmm.
Just by overextending. I just sometimes forget. So anyway, he played a Novice, and then a Wax Elemental, and then a Vicious Scalehide.
We draw Hellfire.
Man, this Dread Infernal looks pretty good, but I don't know.
So what's your first instinct?
I'd have to. I'm agreeing with the Dread Infernal, or maybe draw a card first and then Dread Infernal.
I actually don't think we should draw this turn, but I think Dread Infernal is very good. It kills the Novice he left, it kills the Scalehead at 1 health, and it takes the Divine Shield off the Wax Elemental.
Now we can use our now 2/2 Homunculus to remove.
Push 8,
and
which
we
is
can
good.
do
Yeah.
another 8 damage.
And the reason I didn't want to draw now is because we have 4 minions on board and 6 in hand. If we draw, we're going to lose the Dread Infernal we just played, because that would be the last thing that gets bounced into our hand.
Here's the prep.
Probably
Oh, Minstrel.
Prep Minstrel. If he goes Vanish, it'd be pretty good.
A Shard.
No Vanish, but he drew a Shard. So our
Dread
6/6 is
Infernal.
frozen. We have 10 damage showing.
Plays a Boar. And a Boar.
Okay.
He's dead, is he not?
We have 8 damage on board, 8 mana, and 2 Hellfires in hand. So that's 6 from hand, 8 on board, 14, and he's at 12.
Got him. The aggressive
So we just
plan.
do that, then.
Yeah, as long as we hit face with a Spellbreaker first.
That's right.
Yes. Oh goodness.
Double.
That's something I could do wrong here. Yeah. Okay. So now we Hellfire.
We've all done that at some point.
I've never done that in my
another
life.
Hellfire.
I've done that.
I know. It's like, oh god, no. Why?
That's all right.
Well, that was fun.
Maybe,
Now,
maybe I'll get.
would you say this matchup is favored or not?
I think it's unfavored for us, but what we saw early, we didn't have like a giant we could start off with. So what we did was we started being aggressive with like our 2-drops, and he didn't end up having a Vanish, so the early chip damage led us to that lethal. If we hadn't played the Sun Fury or even the Beetle, we wouldn't have started chipping off damage, and he would have been able to freeze bigger targets. Like he would have frozen, let's say, a Giant or a Twilight Drake, and at that point we're not pushing any damage. He gets the Vanishes, and then it all goes poorly from there. But the early aggression paid off there.
Seems
So we're up
insignificant, that
against
Sun Fury, but it did a lot of work. So
We're up
I
against
cleared
the
minions
mage.
and stuff.
Yeah. So we get a Hellfire, Vulgar Homunculus, and Dread Infernal. Throw back the Infernal? Keep the other 2?
I think I like that.
Because this is probably... Although I did come across it somebody trying to play Tempo Mage earlier.
I think
Although,
it'll likely be Murloc Mage.
yeah,
It
which
could
is
be
why I was
Control
tempted.
Mage.
I was tempted to keep the Infernal.
Hmm.
We draw a Hellfire off the top, or not a Hellfire, a Defile. We got a Hellfire in our hand. But now we're going to draw a card. We get a Hooked Reaver. So we got that, Defile, Hellfire, Homunculus, and a Spellstone.
What kind of mage are we expecting here?
Murgle.
Murloc,
Oh.
what I expect.
That would be my first guess. I've seen a few control mages hanging out.
He passed.
Well, the Lich King keeps showing up. He's really wanting in on the party, but we don't think we even made it to turn 8 last time. I would play the Homunculus.
I actually wouldn't here. If
No?
he had, if this was Murlocs, he has coin. It's very, very likely he would have just played a Murloc this turn or coined out another one. So it's probably a slower deck. With that in mind, the Homunculus doesn't do anything against Control Mage, so we would rather find a Giant or a Twilight Drake, which means we'd probably tap this turn.
Draw a card.
If
we
we
get a
happen to-
Skulking Geist.
If we misread that, and he is, we can still go tap Homunculus next turn, and it's kind of okay.
He passed on 2. Didn't even ping. I guess he's trying to not get us down for the Hook Reavers.
We get a Bone Mare, so I guess we draw a card.
Yep.
We get another Lesser Amethyst Spellstone. Well, the only thing we could do is play the Homunculus.
We can play that
Go
now.
ahead. Okay.
If we draw Giant or Twilight Drake, we can still play it next turn. So
Gotcha.
now it's fine to play this out.
Hey, we got to draw that Spellstone before we did the damage to ourselves.
Stonehill Defender comes down. So definitely something slow.
Yeah, this is a weird one. There's our other Hooked Reaver. Boy, a whole lot of cards.
Very awkward.
Yeah.
Is there any reason to Spellstone this?
Not really.
I don't think so.
We can save Spellstone later when it's buffed up to deal with like a full Water Elemental or a big taunt. I think now, even though it kind of sucks, we just play out a Hooked Reaver as a 4/4.
Okay.
This
There's
is
no- yeah.
This is
And
the
then
damn killer.
And we hit the Stonehill with our Homunculus, so that next turn we can hit it again and push face with the Hooked Reaver.
Dan just died inside a little bit.
A
Kind
little.
of sucks. Sometimes you don't draw
I'm
giants.
kidding.
No, with the battle cries without the effect, it's like a thing
Yeah.
with him.
I've been getting better at it. It's still, there's still a little part of me that's like, no, what are you doing? There's
Can't
no
do
battle
this.
cry.
Wow. I was
I've
just
gotten
playing
better at telling that
Arcane.
voice to be quiet.
Arcane Keysmith comes down, and he's thinking about a secret that he wants to put him to the field.
Yeah.
He's coining something out. That's interesting.
Coin.
Oh, he's coining because it's Frozen Clone.
Is that it?
Because it's frozen.
If he didn't coin and we play a minion, he goes up to 10 cards and burns his next card.
Oh.
So he'll get
so
whatever we play?
minion, whatever
Yep.
minion we play, he'll get 2 of.
I think that's
In
fine,
his
though.
hand?
Yeah. In his hand, not on the field. Because most of
Yeah.
our minions, he doesn't really have time to play. I think we can tap first to see what we get.
Alrighty. Tappy tap. We get a Spellbreaker.
I honestly don't hate the spell. Actually, so we could choose to give him a Spellbreaker or 2 Hooked Reavers. I think I might rather give him 2 Spellbreakers because the way we win is we actually try to kill him. But if we try killing him and he he puts up two 4-mana 7/7s, that's actually hard for us to get through because we don't have Black Knights.
Alright, we'll silence his 1/2.
Yep, silences 1/2, and then just go face with both of them.
Frozen Clone.
Nice. Nice
Yeah.
read. Dead giveaway. Frozen Clone. Coin into nothing.
So we kind of want to play a big threat every turn so that the Bone Mare in our hand will get some value at some point.
Okay, so he traded the 2 and Ziliax are Spellbreaker.
draw a Mossy Horror. That I don't know if it's going to be super useful this game or not, but now I'm tempted to Spellstone this the Ziliax. That's kind of what I would be inclined to do. That or Hellfire.
I kind of want to. So if we play a minion here, it gives him something to meteor. If we Spellstone, there's a 4/4 left. The Hellfire doesn't do too much just yet. I don't hate just playing like a Geist here and trading. The Geist doesn't do anything, but with Meteor, we'd rather him Meteor like our smaller minion that we don't really care about too much.
Yeah, that's what this play is what I thought, but I didn't know. No Meteor. Just the ping. And
took out the rest of our Hooked Reaver.
Yeah, we gotta play something. It's a Doomsayer.
Ooh.
And a Shimmering Tempest.
Played a Doomsayer and a Shimmering Tempest. So now this Mossy Heart in our hand kills 2 things and leaves 2 big minions on our side of the board that can potentially be Bone Mare next turn. So I really like the Mossy Heart.
Yeah, okay.
No
Down
tap, right? Because our
Mossy.
hand is full.
Yep, our hand's full, so we hit him in the head.
And pass.
Yep.
See, Mossy, we're like, I don't know. It's
Worked out well.
It's doing some work.
Yeah.
So
I've been.
Go ahead.
No, I've been surprised by Mossy Horror because you think it's out of the meta, and all of a sudden it shows up, and oh shoot, I didn't think of that. Damn it.
Oh boy, it might be
Research project.
Like some kind of mill. Research project.
Is this?
Oh, the project was from the Shimmering Tempest. I see.
Okay.
Oh right. Well, we lost
okay.
a
So let me
couple of cards.
recap that. He played a Artificer, then a research project. That drew the giant, and it burned the Sun Fury, which I guess is fine. Then he a polymorph the Geist. That's good. And then we burned something else. The beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We probably want to play 2 things here. If we Bone Mare, it's a little weak to Dragon's Fury, so I don't like that. We have a giant in hand, so I'd like to play the giant and maybe a homunculus.
Is there a positioning consideration? Not really.
Not particularly, no. From Meteor, sure. Homunculus you can put in between the Mossy Horror and the giant. And I also don't want to tap. So I do want to trade off the Mossy Horror and hit face with the sheep. The reason I don't want to tap is if he manages to clear a board this turn with like a Dragon's Fury for 7 ping, I want to play up the Lich King, which means next turn we don't want to be full on cards.
There's the Meteor on the giant. So we did protect the Mossy somewhat, I guess.
I like Lich King here.
Draw Sun Fury and play Lich King. All right, buddy, it's your time
Playing
to
something
shine.
threatening into his Jaina turn is really important because he has to actually decide whether or not he wants to bring Jaina online.
Alright. What do we get?
Frostborn. That's a good one.
Oh, Frostborn.
15
Nice.
damage.
So in his hand, he still has a Stonehill Defender taunt and 2 Spellbreakers that he got from his Frozen Clone.
There's another Stonehill, so we got another taunt.
At this point, if he can't clear our minions, we want to develop something each turn, but not enough to overextend into like a Dragon's Fury.
Okay, so you just Spellbreaker the Lich King, which is not the end of the world, and then he played another Shimmering Tempest.
And we drew a Shroom Brewer. Let me see. Hang on now. Fine. Do we Frostborn?
So Hellfire doesn't do a lot in this matchup. With the Shrimbrewer we drew, we can trade off the sheep into the Stonehill Defender. Hellfire clears his Spellbreaker, the remaining 3 health Stonehill Defender, and the Shimmering Tempest. And then we can heal our Lich King back up. sure, the Lich King doesn't give us cards anymore at this point, but it's
still
something
an
big.
8/8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put the Shroom Brewer. Where do we want to put it? On the left? Not on the right.
Yeah.
We can put it on the far left.
Heal the
Far
Lich
left?
King.
Far left and heal the Lich King, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, Shroom Brewer going to the left, healing Lich King.
And then we hit him in the head.
And now we attack for 10 points. Was there any reason to
There's
play
Jaina.
Sun Fury there?
Actually, there was to play around Jaina, but oops.
Oh, a little hasty.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Acidic Swamp Ooze.
So if we had actually played Sun Fury, that would have been lethal. Oops.
Because we have we have 14 and then 5.
Yeah.
19.
That's okay.
He's
So what
at
we
20.
can do is we have 2 7 damage spellstones. We can play the Hooked Reaver first on the far left.
Hooked Reaver to the far left.
Yeah. Then we can go Spellstone on the Water Elemental.
Spellstone on the Water Elemental.
And we can hit him with everything in the head.
Do we want to play Sun Fury Protector?
That's fine. Yeah, sure.
Do we want to taunt up the Lich King and Mossy, or
Put it
Mossy
in
and...
between Hooked Reaver and the Shroom Brewer.
Okay, between the Hooked Reaver and Shroom Brewer.
Just more
Alright.
meteor protection, right? Essentially.
Yeah,
Because the taunt doesn't matter. It's not like he's
correct.
got anything.
So what we're scared about, Blizzard is good. What we're scared about is Artificer Blizzard.
It's kind of the worst case scenario.
Yeah, we can get through anything else. So we definitely should have played the Sun Fury because it means we would have killed him through Jaina. So that was oops. If he has just Blizzard, we should be okay. Dragon's Fury is a little scary. If it hits low, it's good.
6.
It hit a little high. But that's still fine.
Lich King is still kicking around. He
Yeah.
can get a Water Ellie from this Hook Reaver. Because it's a 7-1 right now. But that doesn't do him any good. He needs to kill both. Or,
He could consider playing second Dragon's Fury
No,
here,
he's
but he
not.
doesn't have it, so he concedes.
woo! Even with a little
Alright.
mishap, we still got him.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right.
I'm
Well,
liking
one
this.
more win, I'll be into 6.
I'm liking this deck.
Deck does good stuff.
It's probably the teacher though, not my plays would have led us the wrong path.
Well, I mean, I led you astray by not playing the Sun Fury.
Hey, happens.
It still worked out.
It-
All right, so it's Warlock on Warlock.
Mecha Jaraxxus.
And we got a Shroom Brewer, Plated Beetle, and a Spellstone. Do we just throw back the Shroom Brewer?
I think we throw back everything. So if it's
Throw back
Zoo,
everything.
yeah, if it's Zoo, we want the AoE, and if it's even lock, we just want Giant and Twilight Drake.
Okay.
Beetle doesn't do a whole lot. Like it can contest the board against Zoo, but you have better tools against Zoo lock.
Well, we get a Homunculus, Sun's Fury Protector, and Bone Mare.
There's a giant.
There's a giant. I will draw my card,
Yep.
and
Hook Reaver.
I get a Hooked Reaver out of it.
So good to note that our opponent, who's also Warlock, does not have an upgraded hero power in any way. So it could be Zoo, which it
No.
looks like it is.
Yep.
I see a flame
looks
imp.
like.
Oh no.
Okay, that's fine. It could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse.
I thought it was the
Cobalt Librarian.
voodoo doctor. Nope, no voodoo. Just
Skulking Geist, so I imagine we'll throw out the Homunculus.
Yep, contest the board. If he has Soulfire, it's pretty good for him, but otherwise, this might clean up the board nicely. We do want to be tapping to find like Hellfire and other cards we're going to need, but for now, we do just want to fight for the board if we can.
so he played Kaliseth on 2
Prince
after
Kaliseth.
trading both minions, so he didn't have the Soulfire or didn't want to play it.
So we don't want to tap for cards?
I think we tap first, yes. We need more tools. We don't have quite what we need.
Another Sun Fury Protector.
I don't mind playing out a Sun Fury Protector now.
Yeah.
Contest this Kalaseth?
Yeah. We're still a couple turns off from a giant, so it's not. I don't think it's worth saving for a giant. We can stifle like the oncoming aggression now.
There's doubling imp. Stop copying me. Oh, there we go.
Hellfire!
Yeah. We don't
Can
need
we
to
do
play
that now?
just yet. No. We can hold on. I think we still tap.
Alrighty. Tappy tap. We got a defile.
That's good.
Okay.
So do we trade?
I think playing trading and then playing the Swamp Ooze is good. We're at a point where we might be able to Sun Fury something.
Wow.
So
the
we'll
ooze instead? Okay. Not the health? Yeah, this contests both of them, I guess. Yeah.
We might get... right now, it's looking like we might be able to play a giant and then taunt it. Depending on... As long as he doesn't play an upgraded Serenite Chain Gang here, we're okay.
A Light Warden, Fungal Enchanter, and just FaceTime. Smash him in the face. Ooh.
He's going to wish he'd gotten rid of my 3-2 because I'm going to use that to get rid of his 4-3 Light Warden over there.
You could defile the whole thing away, but let's see what the...
Oh, yeah, we could defile it all.
Let's see what we got.
So there's a lot of options here. We have to consider he's going to turn 5, so he could potentially Fungal Mancer. One play, since we're at 16, is tap Hooked Reaver for taunt, and we would trade on board. He'd be left with 5 damage. If he goes Fungal Mancer, it doesn't really line up nicely. Doomguard doesn't line up nicely. So Hooked Reaver is actually not that bad. The other potential is tap, go face, defile, clear the board, set up for Giant Sun Fury next turn. But if you develop something bigger by then, it might not be as good. So I do kind of like tap, Reaver, double trade. In any case, we should tap first to see what we get.
Yeah.
Tap. We got a Spellstone. So Hooked Reaver.
Yep, a Hooked Reaver, kill off the Light Warden, and a Doubling Imp.
So it was kind of what you first thought, Dan, to use your 3-2 on the 4-3 versus the defile play. Yeah, I mean, the 7's, here's the Chain Gang. He sends those 2 things into the Hook River and his Librarian last, which I don't like. Always like to see what I get first. It's just me.
And we get the other lesser Amethyst Spellstone.
Yep.
Stick to the plan? Giant Taunt? Or you see something
I think
else?
Giant Taunt is fine.
And kill one of these?
Yeah, you could clear stuff here, but then you're starting to get rid of cards from your hand. So you want to play the Giant now while you can actually use it as a taunt thingy. Yeah, and we can kill off a chain gang. Otherwise, the Librarian trades into our 7-2 Hooked Reaver.
We wouldn't have tapped there, right? We're at 14.
We could have tapped. Maybe we should have. We're a little low is the problem.
Yeah, here's Leroy. Yeah, I mean, we would have been at 12. I don't know. It was close. I wasn't sure.
We used all our mana for that last play, so.
Alright, so he cleared Leroy and the other minion.
We used Leroy to clear
the giant, and then when faced with the Chain Gang that was remaining.
Right. So he has a buffed Light Ward and a buffed Chain Gang from Kalaseth. We have a Sun Fury Protector and 2 Whelps. We can clear this with Hellfire or Defile and follow up with a Plated Beetle. I kind of like going... the thing is, if we Hellfire, we could die to double Soulfire. I do kind of like just trade the Sun Fury into the Serenite Chain Gang, which leaves a 1, a 2, and a 3. We can Defile and then play the Plated Beetle.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
This sets up for the Bone Mare we have in hand and doesn't leave us dead to anything. And we don't want to tap either.
Yeah. No more tapping.
Well, once you heal up, plenty of tapping.
Well, yeah. I do have a couple of spells.
Ooh, Life Drinker. That's spooky. Fungal Enchanter. Okay.
Dread Infernal we draw. So is this Bone Mare time still?
I think it is Bone Mare time. And we want to trade.
So we die exactly to silence
Soulfire. Salas, most people aren't running in the zoo
Soulfire.
right now. Yeah.
Other than that,
Soulfire does it sometimes.
well, he doesn't have it or did play it wrong because he didn't swing it. There's a Void Walker.
Looks like we might get the Fungal Mancer. That's fine.
Well, that kills that. Okay.
It does.
Yeah, and we got 3 health back. So he traded a 6 to kill our 6.
We drew Twilight Drake.
So he has a 3/3, a 4/6. We have a 5/5.
Yeah.
We could develop a minion this turn, but no matter which way we develop a minion, we have to like. It's just kind of awkward. I like Hellfiring here and Spellstone immediately after because it buffs both Spellstones, keeps us in a healthy range, and leaves something on board for us that doesn't die to like Dreadlord.
Hellfire.
Get 5 back.
Yep.
Up to 13.
Now we're at like a safe health total. We have something left on board, and next turn we can go 6 mana minion with a 4 mana Spellstone swing turn, which is going to be nice.
He's Voodoo Doctor.
Looks like Doomguarder. Yeah.
Doomguard.
This is fine.
In the face. Boom.
Alright, we draw Hooked Reaver. That's good.
So we have 10 mana. If we play, this is a buff Doomguard 6/8. If we Dread Infernal, it damages the Doomguard for 1 and upgrades our Spellstone to 7, so that deals with the Doomguard. And the Bone Mare left over, we can trade off the Voodoo Doctor.
And again, we don't die to anything there because we'd be at 13.
So you said Dread Infernal?
Yep. Then we can upgrade its Spellstone the Doomguard. And trade off the 5/1.
Oh, yeah, got to though. Okay.
And we're a little low, but we still have this Hooked Reaver to fall back on next turn, along with another minion. And he's actually low enough that he needs to be careful tapping. So, like, this is probably the last time he can tap.
Actually, he just plays a naked Fungalmancer and another Doomguard. God. Face time.
This is fine, though.
Shroom Brewer.
All right, Shroom Brewer.
This Hooked Reaver... Oh, hold on. So we have Hooked Reaver that we're playing for sure this turn. We can choose to be a bit safer and heal our face with the Shroom Brewer. Or... Hold on. Don't play the Hooked Reaver yet. Another option would be to play... the Geist or the Drake. No, yeah. I think you play the Emerald Reaver. And I think you also just Shroom Brewer your face.
Hooked Reaver?
Yep. And Shroom Brewer your face.
Shroom Brewer the face.
Killed 3/3.
He's played... Yeah, he's played 2 Fungalmancers, so we don't have to play around that. I would still like to kill the 3/3 though.
Trade in. Oh, yeah, trade. Use our 6/6. Took out his
Yep.
3/3.
Now we can
We got
just hold on.
Defiled, Twilight Drake, and Skulking Geist down in my field.
Yeah. Must be getting close to a Soulfire here, unless he cut him. Okay, he swings into the 7/7. Tap.
Tap leaves him dead on board now.
Soul Infusion. Voodoo Doctor.
Well, he's dead on board, so that's a little weird.
Yeah.
He should have healed his face.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You hit him for 17.
Oh! I do, don't I?
And you do.
Okay, that works. I'm
Seems
sitting
okay.
there looking at cards and stuff. And
That was a mistake
Oh.
then. He could have stayed alive, potentially. That's weird.
All right, win streak bonus, and now it hit 6.
Feels good.
Feels good. That feels like a podcast there, guys.
Okay. I like it. And
Yeah.
I was asleep at the wheel then, didn't record the first game, but I got the second too, so at least we got that. We've been doing this thing where we go back, we capture the HS replay, and then we go back through the match to see if we spot any boo-boos. And we're also posting them to the show so people can follow along if they want to. But I forgot to do the first game. It's fine.
It's a new feature we're doing. So.
Yep.
Okay. Well, LanguageHacker, thank you so much for your time and coming to hang out with us tonight. And I really look forward to seeing you next weekend. This weekend coming up, not next weekend. This weekend coming. Go ahead, and you got any shout outs or anything you want to put out there as we close up the show?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/languagehacker, spelled properly, _. On Twitch, it's just twitch.tv/languagehacker, spelled normally. Yeah, I follow me there to find out when I'm going live. I'm streaming 3 times a week now, and with the start of the new year, I'll be streaming full time and competing in Hearthstone full time. Cool. So there'll be a lot more content coming out.
Excellent. Look forward to it. All right, my friend. Anything else there, partner?
No, I'm excited to see you guys too this coming week. It should be a fun time. It's probably going to be my last major of the year since I don't have anything else lined up. I don't think I'm going to HCT Philly. So this will be like a nice little end to the year before starting up next year.
I can't wait to go.
Yeah, I think.
How about?
Yeah, 19 is going to be. It's going to be an interesting year for you going into this journey of full-time gaming, trying this game as a way of living. So
it's going to be an adventure.
I know. I mean, a lot of people try it, and I think, based on what we've seen, seems like you've been able to do it with other stuff. So it should be good from a content production as well as from a competition itself. So
yeah, stick with it. You got a nice, friendly demeanor on stream and stuff. So in time, I'm pretty sure your numbers will build. Just got to kind of just stick with it and be consistent. I'm sure you'll be good with it.
It's kind of like your new job, so you'll do it all the time.
Oh God, Hearthstone is a job.
Hey,
yeah,
it's
what a world.
It's a cool job, even if it's not forever.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yep, very good. So yeah, give him a follow. Watch the stream. It's Monday through Wednesday right now. Is that right?
Yeah, currently Monday through Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You'll see me pop in there every now and then.
I'll be popping in more for
sure. Just say a thing or two, some kind of comment. But anyway, yeah, it's fun to see some of the high level play for sure. So go check it out. Okay, Dan. Anything else?
Nope. The wheels are down. See the landing lights, and
you're not excited about DreamHack or anything, right? You're not. You don't care about that.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned it at all.
Nah, I don't think it was quite as bad as last year, but
yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm going there. I applied for a media pass. We'll see what comes through. But I will be walking around with the microphones, trying to get interviews and talk with pros and asking questions and watch stuff. And it's such a cool experience. Definitely. Yeah, can't wait to go.
Very cool. All right, so I see the runways ahead of us. We're about to land the plane. We'd like to thank everybody on the stream that came. There were quite a few people out there.
Excellent.
So glad you came out to support LanguageHacker, and make sure to go follow him again and see him soon next year. I'm sure we'll remind everybody when the championships are, so you go watch it. We can get some more packs. So I got my 4 packs from this. So you can find us at hearthcoach.net. We are on all the social medias that are still alive, Twitter, Facebook at HearthCoach. We're on iTunes. We haven't seen a review in a little bit, so here we are begging again for reviews because that helps.
Maybe after this week's we'll get a few listeners back, because last week was just it was just not a good show in general. I was like way too rambly. I don't know what. It was just a weird one last night.
So it happens. Have an off night every now and then. It's good.
I was so glad you said LanguageHacker would come on tonight. We can redeem ourselves a little bit with an awesome episode. So thanks again, LanguageHacker, for coming on tonight.
Yep. So that's iTunes, and we're in some of the other Stitcher and other platforms, Google Play, etc. We need to get on Spotify. I need to look into that. Email at hearthcoachpodcast@gmail.com. Our Patreon campaign is still alive. It's patreon.com/hearthcoach. yeah, that happened. Battletech Exchange, all that stuff. Hall of Legends, keep sending those submissions because we keep posting them as they come.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
think that's it, right?
I think you covered it, friend. So thanks again to Language Hacker for being here tonight, and good luck getting to Legend, everybody.
Good luck, everybody.